Hello and thanks for joining us for our mid-morning edition of Arirang News. I'm Mark Broom. Let's kick things off by taking a look at the day's headlines. All eyes on a potential inter-Korean summit redux in the coming weeks, bringing President Moon Jaein and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un together again will top the agenda when the two Koreas meet next Monday for high-level talks. Samsung's Galaxy Note 9 is officially unveiled. It's the largest Note to date in terms of storage, battery power and screen size. The Korean tech giant also launches a Galaxy Watch and a smart speaker for your home. Plus, a suspected Saudi-led airstrike has killed and injured scores of children travelling on a bus in northern Yemen. Let's begin with the big news that the two Koreas will hold high-level talks at the border next Monday. Officials from the two sides will be aiming to set up a third summit between President Moon Jae-in and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. There's hope the two leaders could meet again in the coming weeks. Oh Jung-hee starts us off.
Could the third inter-Korean summit talks be held sooner than expected? At North Korea's request, the two sides are holding high-level talks next Monday at Tongil-gak, a building located on the North Korean side of the truce village of Panmunjom. Meeting for the fourth time this year, the main talking point for the delegates this time will be planning the next inter-Korean summit.
We'll have a deep discussion with the North Korean side about measures to promote the implementation of the Panmunjom Declaration and about successfully holding inter-Korean summit talks.
That announcement adds weight to the possibility of a third summit between South Korean President Moon Jae-in and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un happening sooner than initially scheduled. When they met for the first time in April, they agreed President Moon would visit Pyongyang in the fall. But there have been reports recently that Moon and Kim could meet as soon as this month to try to find a breakthrough in the North Korea-US nuclear negotiations, which have slowed down because of differences between the two about formally ending the Korean War. Another major topic at the high-level talks next week, according to Seoul, will be how well the two sides have been implementing the April summit agreement dubbed the Panmunjom Declaration. They'll also talk about promoting inter-Korean exchanges, which could involve events like a concert by North Korean performers and inter-Korean basketball games, this time in Seoul. Oh Jung-hee, Arirang News.
Now, North Korea's Foreign Minister Ri Yong-ho says the regime supports the denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula, but will not surrender its nuclear technology yet. Pyongyang's top diplomat was speaking Thursday as he continues his trip to Iran. Ri said the North is committed to denuclearization, but it's not the right time to give up its nukes, as the United States may not set aside its enmity toward the regime. Ri arrived in Tehran on Tuesday and has already held talks with his Iranian counterpart and Iranian President Hassan Rouhani, as the two countries seek closer ties amid Washington's continued economic pressure on both of them. The US State Department says Washington is in touch with North Korea virtually every day or every other day, but has no travel plans to announce for the time being. According to the State Department spokeswoman Heather Nauert, the US is continuing communication with the North, but declined to comment on a report that Pyongyang had repeatedly rejected a US proposal for it to cut its nuclear arsenal by 60 to 70% within 6 to 8 months. US officials familiar with the talks, however, told Reuters that North Korea has yet to agree to a timeline for eliminating its nuclear arsenal or to disclose its size, which the US estimates at between 30 to 60 warheads. Now, switching gears, after months of waiting and wondering, fans of Samsung's flagship phablet smartphone finally got their eyes on the company's latest device, the Galaxy Note 9, and it is a highly impressive upgrade from the Korean tech titan. All the features have been touched up and tuned up to meet the demands of consumers as we prepare to head into 2019. Samsung also unveiled its latest smartwatch and a smart home speaker. Lee Seung-jae with the details.
Samsung Electronics was the talk of New York City on Thursday as the Korean tech giant unveiled its latest Galaxy Note 9 phablet.
It is my great pleasure to present the all-new Galaxy Note 9.
The latest in the hugely popular Galaxy Note series features a 6.4-inch display and is equipped with a new stylus pen and the best battery and storage among all of Samsung's previous devices. Grabbing the attention at the unveiling event was the Note 9's battery. It packs an extremely powerful 4,000 mAh battery, which is significantly larger than the 3,300 mAh battery in the Note 8. Samsung Electronics has been cautious in the past about expanding its battery capacity after production of the ill-fated Galaxy Note 7 was suspended after its 3,500 mAh battery caught fire. However, rising demand for larger, more long-lasting batteries to support various top-notch features seems to have spurred Samsung to press ahead with the upgrade.
It's nice that the Note 9 has a larger battery. They tried a larger battery with the Note 7 and they had all this fiasco. So right now we're going to see what's going to happen with the 4,000 mAh battery. It should be okay this time around.
Along with the larger battery, the Note 9 distinguishes itself from previous Note models by having a 512GB version. And with its micro SD slot, the Note 9 is capable of providing users with up to 1TB of memory. A new upgrade on its signature S Pen allows users to click the pen to activate applications or use it to get the phone to shoot photos or videos. Another notable upgrade on the Note 9 is its AI technology, or Bixby 2.0. The new iteration is capable of better understanding the spoken commands of users. Samsung says Bixby will continue to learn patterns of how the device is being used, allowing for customized information as time goes by. The Note 9 will hit store shelves around the world on August 24th. Along with its unveiling of the Note 9, Samsung Electronics also revealed its first smartwatch with the Galaxy Watch name, which boasts better healthcare-related features than Samsung's previous Gear brand. The device's heartbeat sensor can even analyze sleep patterns and provide tips to improve its users' habits. But that's not all. Another Samsung product grabbing the limelight at the launch event was the company's first AI smart speaker, the Galaxy Home, which will run on the Bixby platform. While detailed specs have not been announced, more information will be released at Samsung's Developers Conference in November. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
Now, President Moon Jaein will meet 5 top legislative, administrative and judiciary figures for a working lunch in a couple of hours to discuss North Korea-related issues as well as governmental efforts for deregulation. The president's guests are the newly inaugurated parliamentary speaker Moon Jae-in, Prime Minister Lee Na-kyun, Supreme Court Chief Justice Kim Dongsoo, Constitutional Court Chief Justice Lee Jin-sung, and the National Election Commission Chair Kwon Soon-il. As well as congratulating the new parliamentary speaker, the first meeting of its kind in 3 months will focus on developments between the two Koreas, as well as the government's efforts to completely denuclearize North Korea. President Moon is also expected to ask for the leader's support amid a series of tough economic challenges facing his administration. The governor of Gyeongsangnam-do Province is back home this morning after being grilled for more than 20 hours over his suspected involvement in an online comment rigging scandal, leaving the special counsel office at around 5:30 a.m. following his second marathon round of questioning. Kim Dongsoo told reporters that he faithfully cooperated with the investigation. He said the ball is now in the special counsel's court, urging them to come up with a fair and rational decision based on the truth. Kim, who is accused of colluding with the influential blogger nicknamed Druking and of offering a diplomatic position to the blogger's associate in exchange for support in the June local elections, continued to deny the allegations, even during his cross-interrogation with Druking. More horrific news out of the Middle East. More than 40 people have been killed in a Saudi-led coalition airstrike in Yemen. And most of those killed were children under the age of 15 going on a school trip. For more on this and other news from around the world, let's turn to our Noah Adam. So Adam, what is the latest?
Well, Mark, the International Committee of the Red Cross said the children were on a field trip when their bus was struck at a market in Gyeongsangnam-do in the northern province of Saudiled. The Houthi-controlled health ministry said nearly 30 children were killed. The overall death toll is said to be at least 43, with more than 60 others injured. The Western-backed alliance fighting the Iranian-aligned Houthi group in Yemen said its actions were legitimate, insisting it never deliberately targets civilians. It said the airstrike was aimed at missile launchers used to attack the southern Saudi city of Gyeongsangnam-do on Wednesday, where a Yemeni civilian was killed. The alliance also accused the Houthis of using children as human shields. A spokesman for the Houthis, meanwhile, said the coalition showed, quote, clear disregard for civilian life by targeting a crowded public place. The United Nations has called for all parties involved in the conflict in Yemen to engage in peace talks. A powerful 5.9 magnitude aftershock has again struck Indonesia's Lombok island just 4 days after a 6.9 magnitude quake. The death toll is estimated by some to have now topped 300. Yong-ho has the latest.
A strong aftershock hit Indonesia's Lombok island on Thursday, 4 days after it was struck by a deadly quake of magnitude 6.9. Indonesia's geological agency said the latest big tremor had a magnitude of 6.2 and occurred at a depth of 12 kilometers. It struck northwest of Lombok, which is close to Bali, but the agency said it would not cause a tsunami. The aftershock was the third big earthquake to hit Lombok in less than 2 weeks, causing buildings to collapse and destroying homes. The damage from the 3 consecutive quakes is apparently severe, with almost 1,500 injured and more than 150,000 displaced. The death toll is unclear but still climbing. According to Indonesia's National Disaster Agency, the death toll from Sunday's earthquake stood at 131 as of Wednesday, but local media are reporting figures as high as 381. Another 16 are known to have died in the first quake late last month. The buildings still standing have been weakened, and the authorities say the number of dead and injured is likely to increase as rescue efforts continue. Yong-ho, Arirang News.
US Vice President Mike Pence has unveiled plans for creating a 6th branch of the US military by the year 2020, known as the Space Force. At a Pentagon address on Thursday, Pence said it was needed to maintain America's dominance in space.
Just as in the past, when we created the Air Force, establishing the Space Force is an idea whose time has come. The space environment has fundamentally changed in the last generation. What was once peaceful and uncontested is now crowded and adversarial. Today, other nations are seeking to disrupt our space-based systems and challenge American supremacy in space as never before.
The idea of the Space Force was first floated by President Trump, who emphatically tweeted after Pence's announcement, quote, Space Force all the way. However, its creation is expected to face challenges in Congress where relevant legislation needs to be passed. Critics have described the idea as an unnecessary and expensive bureaucratic endeavor by the Trump administration. Talking about taking things to new heights, NBA star Bull Bullard has scored an amazing trick shot from an airplane. Flying over Wildwood, New Jersey, the Harlem Globetrotter guard managed to score while the plane was traveling at more than 112 kilometers an hour. Let's take a look.
All right, let's do this. Right in line. 3, 2, 1.
Bullard has made quite a habit of scoring trick shots. Last year, he made a shot from a helicopter 64 meters in the air, and the year before, it was from a roller coaster at Moree Piers.
Thank you as always to Arirang for the international news there. Now, a little bit closer to home, the investigation into banned North Korean coal shipments into South Korea. It's going to wrap up today with officials set to reveal the results of their probe, a probe that began in October of last year. The South Korean government has been looking into 9 cases in which North Korean coal disguised as Russian coal might have been brought into the South. The results are expected to show the South was at least partially responsible for failing to flag the banned shipments. South Korea's foreign ministry said earlier this week that the coal was from Russia, and there was no confirmation of any kind of violation of UN Security Council resolutions. South Korea will strengthen efforts to recover the remains of war dead. By next year, they are going to assign 48 more experts to recovery work and quadruple the number of staff tasked with getting DNA samples from the relatives of the fallen Korean War heroes. According to the Defense Ministry, the decision is a follow-up to agreements made in the April summit, which includes turning the DMZ into a peace zone. Seoul and Pyongyang have been discussing possible joint work to recover war remains there as well. President Moon Jaein has said such efforts will be his first priority when inter-Korean relations improve. Of some 10,000 sets of remains recovered so far, only about 1% have been identified. Now, the power of sports to bring people together has played a crucial role in turning around once soured inter-Korean ties, leaving them pretty much unrecognizable in a good way from even a few months ago, especially about a year ago. And as a result, there have been ongoing sports exchanges and friendlies between Seoul and Pyongyang over the past several months, the latest being an international table tennis tournament in the south, which was a great success. So it shouldn't come as a massive surprise that there are more joint sporting events lined up to hopefully keep this positive momentum going. Won Jung-hwan with the details.
During the historic inter-Korean summit which took place in April, the two leaders agreed to strengthen ties through sporting exchanges. Since then, the two Koreas have organized joint events in basketball and table tennis. And this time, the spotlight turns to football. The Ministry of Unification has confirmed on Thursday that South Korea has approved a trip by a group of young athletes to North Korea to take part in an international youth football event. The under-15 football competition, which kicks off next week, will feature 6 nations, including Russia and China. And from South Korea, some 150 athletes and staff members will leave for Pyongyang on Friday, taking an overland route. It will be the first time that such a large group of civilians have crossed into the north since the Moon Jaein government took office. Meanwhile, the Unification Ministry also approved a trip by a group of North Koreans to South Korea to participate in an inter-Korean workers' football match on Saturday. The inter-Korean workers' football match, which was first held in 1999, will kick off at Seoul's Sangam World Cup Stadium in front of an expected 30,000 spectators. A delegation of 64 North Koreans will travel to South by land on Friday for the event. North Korean athletes will also be heading to the South later in August for the World Shooting Championship in Changwon, South Gyeongsangnam-do Province. Won Jung-hwan, Arirang News.
Korean researchers have developed an AI chip that can recognize objects just like the human eye can. The small, high-performance chip is expected to be used in surveillance cameras and drones. Park Se-young with more.
This artificial intelligence chip with visual functions can recognize everyday objects. Korean researchers have successfully created a visual intelligence chip modeled after the human brain by dramatically improving its calculation efficiency.
The technology that can recognize and locate objects can now be applied to machines and devices.
The 5mm chip's neural operation speed has been improved tenfold, while its energy usage has been reduced to 1/100th of the previous system. Chips using existing software can only recognize 1 object per second, but the new chip is capable of 33 object recognitions per second. The low-power technology means the chip can be immediately used in smartphones and surveillance cameras without changing their existing structures.
We've secured the technology for installing semiconductors capable of AI computing into moving objects like self-driving cars or drones.
The technology, which can efficiently locate specific objects or people, is expected to speed the commercialization of visual intelligence. Park Se-young, Arirang News.
Now, sea temperatures around South Korea have been steadily rising over the past several years. Other than negatively affecting the local fishing industry, the phenomenon is causing some other concerning changes for those of us on land. The weather agency warns the warmer waters may bring about even more intense heat waves to Korea than the one we're going through right now in the years to come. So Eun-kyung reports.
The seas surrounding the Korean peninsula are getting warmer. According to a report from the Korean Meteorological Administration released Thursday, the average temperature in July stood at 21.36 degrees Celsius in 2010, but was 24.25 degrees Celsius during the same month this year. The weather agency says the average water temperature in July in the West Sea, the Southern Sea, and the East Sea surrounding the Korean peninsula has jumped by an average of 0.34 degrees Celsius per year since 2010. The weather agency anticipates that warmer seas around Korea could lead to a number of negative socioeconomic effects and also bring worse annual heat waves to the Korean peninsula.
There are a number of reasons. First, of course, the fish catch will drop due to the rising temperatures, and fish farms will suffer from this result. This will lead to a massive shutdown of fish farms.
Prolonged heat waves caused by climate change are one of the main reasons for the rising sea temperatures. Another reason for the warmer sea temperature is that the Korean peninsula has been directly hit by typhoons in recent years, which has prevented the cold water deep below the sea's surface from mixing with the warm surface water. The meteorological agency says it will work with the South Korean government to try to minimize the impact of rising sea temperatures. Seon-kyung, Arirang News.
Good morning. Welcome rain will bring some cooler air to some of the southern regions, but despite another round of showers here in the capital, it's going to remain quite hot and humid. So Seoul will see on and off rain in the afternoon. And other than Gyeongsangnam-do Province, most regions will see showers today. But again, we cannot expect any relief from the heat in Seoul and Daejeon, reaching up to 35 degrees Celsius. But Daegu should have highs 4 degrees lower than yesterday at 33 degrees. The hot weather will continue for another week or so, but I can tell you that from August 20th, we could start to breathe a little better. With that, let's take a look at the international weather for viewers around the world. So showers are in the forecast for most parts of South Korea today, and some regions of North Korea will also see some rain. Japan is facing another typhoon after Typhoon Shanshan brought rain, wind, and high waves to Tokyo. And that 14th typhoon of the season, Typhoon Yagi, could have an indirect effect on the Korean peninsula as well. And morning temperatures in Sydney will fall to single digits starting Saturday, so start to take out your winter clothes. In the U.S., the LA area is still under an excessive heat warning, and heat should ease this weekend. As for South America, most major cities on the map will have mostly sunny skies, but Sao Paulo will see some unstable weather conditions. Heavy rain in the UK this weekend marks the end of the British heat wave. Lastly, to Africa, Addis Ababa will have unstable weather conditions, or mostly sunny skies rather. And that's the weather update for now.
A nice way to stay cool there in this summer heat wave we're going through in Korea. Well, that's all we have for now. We are going to be back, though, with more news. That's coming up at noon Korea time with our very own Lee Ji-yoon. She'll be with you in about an hour and a half from now. So until next time, goodbye.